Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So in this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto and Raynare was deeply in relationship, Naruto x Kushina. This is part 2 and subscribe and like for more, let's get in the video. Naruto walked down the street to school. He had spent the last 2 weeks speaking, training with his family, especially the perverted old bastard on his abilities as a fallen and even part of the unique abilities that he possessed. Despite him only recently awakening his fallen angel side and his sacred gear, it had given him a boost in power. Normally one needed to be at least 6-winged fallen angel before they gained their unique skills and powers. However, thanks to Naruto was able to gain his unique power, the ability to clone himself, although he could only make 4 clones, but each clone required 1/4 of his total power, so he had to be careful when using them in a fight. He had yet to utilize them for combat outside foe training. Despite how he felt about perverts like Azazel, the man was as smart and strong as he was perverted. Azazel had identified his sacred gear and had dubbed it a pseudo-Longinus 1 level below the 13 strongest sacred gears in the world, nearly being paired with the eternal rivals of Red and White. He had asked about any hot women that Naruto had had relations with and if he wanted Azazel could introduce him to a few women, but currently Naruto was doing something else. He looked to his right and walking behind him was his cousin as she was eating ice cream. She was a short stack standing at 5 even with B-cup breasts. Had long blonde hair, dark red eyes, and a petite waist. She currently wore a navy blue sleeve shirt, a black skirt that had a white line on it, a red tie that had a cross on it, a bracelet on her left arm, thigh-high black stockings, and brown loafers. This girl was Eve Volfied, an artificial human, made by one of Azazel's close personal allies and friends. She was quite something, not a homunculi, but not fully human either. In Azazel's own words, she was a deadly weapon packed into a cute form. 1. The only problem was that she was as static as a piece of cloth, so, Naruto had spent the weekend trying to help her reach her emotions. It was slow, but she picked things up fast. When he wasn't helping her learn, he conversed and showed her things like video games and the like. It also gave him time to think about Akeno. Despite what her and the others had done, he still had feelings for her. He still loved her, but after what she did, could he forgive her? Maybe, but definitely not forget. He wouldn't seek her out, but if he encountered her, he would not run away. Naruto, I expected you to be out for a while longer, came a monotone of voice. Naruto turned to see the person he considered his best friend. The boy was much shorter than Naruto, standing at 57, and while he seemed to be a bit on the skinny side, let him remove the uniform and you'd see that he was more on the toned and lean side of the spectrum. Blood red hair, Sabuku Gaara. Gaara was something of a wild card when it came to school. He often tended to sleep through class but was also in the top 10 in their year group. He also didn't attend any clubs, but he oftentimes stopped by the kickboxing club just to sit and watch. Surprisingly, Gaara was actually a good fighter, but he had no real desire to fight. Hey Gaara. Long time no see bro, said Naruto fist bumping his friend. I was worried about Naruto. Is everything alright? Said Gaara. Naruto smirked. Yeah. I was with my grandfather for a few weeks. Old man is as perverted as water is wet, said Naruto. Eve looked at Naruto with her head tilted slightly. Azazel-san isn't that bad. Naruto opened his mouth to speak. Well, look who's back. I thought you took off for parts unknown after Akeno-san dumped sorry ass. Gaara, Naruto, and Eve turned to look at the person who opened their mouth. The boy in question was taller than Gaara at 510 but shorter than Naruto. But where Naruto was more on the slender side, this guy had more muscle, a wild appearance, messy brown hair, sharp black eyes with vertical slit-like pupils, pronounced canine teeth, and a goatee. He wore the boy's uniform, but over that he had a leather jacket. The boy was Inuzuka Kiba, Naruto's biggest rival in school. Inuzuka was an undisciplined thug and he had 4 underlings under him, even Sona, who everyone knew to be a class act. What do you and your pretty pink ponies want, pickle puss? Asked Naruto, switching to his trash-talking wrestler persona. It also didn't help that in another life Naruto was called the prankster king from hell. Kiba and his buddies grit their teeth in anger, but Kiba quickly gains a smirk. You were talking a lot of shit considering Akeno dumped your ass. A hush fell over the yard. Despite Naruto and Akeno's rumored breakup, no one knew the truth. Tsubaki had talked to Akeno and all but confirmed it and even expressed her own interest in Naruto. Of course, Naruto had no way to know all of this. He had been gone for 2 weeks. One of Kiba's goons finally noticed Eve and blushed looking at her. He was honestly surprised that it took so long to notice such a cutie. While not anywhere near the beauty of the great ladies, she was probably as cute as Kaneko. Her static expression was something to fall in love with. He slicked back his hair and walked up to Eve. Hey there baby, you're kind of cute. How about you come and hang with us, said the goon looking at Eve's budding breasts. Naruto's face clouded over as he left his verbal sparring match with Kiba. Get the hell away from Eve before I put my size 12 boot up your narrow ass, said Naruto. Kiba got in front of Naruto. Hey, now let's leave the new couple alone. I am sure they'll get along great, said Inuzuka. Hang out? Asked Eve, tilting her head to the side. The boy grinned. Don't worry, me and the boys can teach you how to hang out, such a pretty little thing you are, said the boy as he reached up to touch Eve's face. Before his hand could touch her face, a hand gripped his in a steel trap. The boy groaned in pain as if he was trying to act tough, but many people often underestimated Gaara's strength. For some reason the smaller boy had a high grip strength. I may not know Valford-san well, but she is important to my friend, so I will protect her, said Gaara. Are you stupid or something? It's 5-on-2, you have no chance, growled Kiba. Then it's a good thing that Naruto and I are both worth at least 10 men each, while you are only worth half a man where it matters. Eve smiled. I think they call that a burn. Naruto smirked and patted her head. I'll make a smart ass out of you yet, Eve, my dear. Kiba looked at Eve and growled, I'll show you, you little bitch. Before Kiba even got within spitting distance of Eve, Naruto kicked Kiba with a no-set-up sweet chin music that sent him backwards. That shot alone rattled him, but it wasn't enough to knock him out. The only problem was that it was a setup. See, Naruto knew how strong his kick was. He had once knocked out B with it during training. Not a lucky shot. A full-powered kick that B said he could take. No, Naruto only wanted to stun Kiba. He was going to leave the finish to his best friend. Naruto wasn't I and B's only student. Gaara, he had managed, spun Kiba around by his shoulder as he jumped into the air, grabbing Kiba by his neck and head. From there gravity did the rest and pulled Gaara down to earth, with Kiba's body following suit. They both came to the ground, with Kiba's neck taking the brunt of the damage, with his face hitting concrete, nearly knocking him cold. Enough! Yelled a voice that caught everyone's attention. It was Tsubaki, and a blonde-haired boy. He wasn't anything to be intimidated by. If anything, Naruto would have to be careful when dealing with him. While he didn't have proof, Naruto had to assume that everyone who was close to Sona and Tsubaki were devils. Who was closer to the student council president than the student council members? Although this was still just speculation on Naruto's part. Hey, this asshole started it, growled Kiba as he was helped up by his friends, his nose busted and bleeding. Tsubaki closed her mismatched eyes. Inuzuka-san, you insulated Uzumaki-san, and your friend attempted to touch Uzumaki-san's cousin without consent. That alone should have him brought up on criminal charges. He and Sabuku-san were well in their rights to defend themselves from aggressors such as yourselves. If you still have a problem, you can take it up with me, said Saji, crossing his arms. Kiba snorted. Whatever takes us to the queen, bitch, so we can get detention or whatever, said Kiba. Tsubaki turned to the rest of the students and frowned. Show's over, go about your day. After everyone broke up, Saji led the boys to Sona's office while Gaara checked to make sure Eve was okay. Tsubaki walked up to Naruto and the others. Naruto looked at her and caught the faint whiff of cinnamon from her. Are you alright, Uzumaki-kun? Asked Tsubaki. I wanted to speak with you, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Naruto frowned at her. He knew she was a devil. For her to come up to him and just talk seemed to go against most of the things that Azazel told Naruto. Should you really be talking to me like this? After all, you are a bat and I am a crow, said Naruto using the universal code language. My master has no such problems with what you are. In fact, she has given me her blessing to court you. Unlike your, I guess she sees no issues with it. Sona has never been one to turn down a golden opportunity, said Tsubaki. Are you sure? Asked Naruto. Tsubaki smiled. Positive, she would like to meet with you and talk with you about our courting. As she is my master, she is overall responsible for my safety, said Tsubaki. Lead the way, said Naruto. Tsubaki grabbed Naruto's arm and pulled it between her breasts. The blonde-haired fallen angel blushed at her actions. Please follow me, Uzumaki-kun. I will escort you to Lady Sona, said the heterochromatic devil. Not far away from all of this, Akeno looked at the location Tsubaki and Naruto just were from around the corner. If one was to look closely, the edge of the concrete pillar where she was standing had deep scratch marks on it. Location: Kuo Academy Place, Student Council Room. Time: 0720. Sona sat in the Student Council office going over Student Council business as well as Kuo Town supernatural paperwork. Sona sometimes hated how much work she had to do. Her analytical mind and eye for detail made it quite a bit trivial matter. However, because of the amount of work she did, Sona ever only got 4 hours of sleep within a 24-hour period, with a 10-minute nap thrown in every 6 hours. Majority of her peerage still had human attachments, so they still had their human needs, or rather they were built into them. It was actually one of the reasons that the devils invested in an artificial sky that turned from day to night instead of eternal night. The door to the room opened and Tsubaki walked in with Naruto right behind her. Tsubaki bowed to Sona. Lady Sona, as requested, I have brought Uzumaki-san to speak to you. I have also told him of my intentions to court him, said Tsubaki. You don't waste any time, said Sona. Tsubaki smiled. Well, I don't want to become a great witch like you intend to be, said Tsubaki. Sona frowned, before smiling. You know that only someone who is on my level mentally will lay with me. So what about you and me? Asked Naruto looking at the vice president. Saturday at 1100, you met me at the Kuo Town Plaza, and we will go from there, said Tsubaki as she stepped out and closed the door. Do you play chess, Uzumaki-san? Asked Sona. Not really. My grandfather taught me the basics, but I am not very good, said Naruto. Sona smiled. I find it a good way to pass the time during a talk. Please take a seat, said Sona. Naruto took a seat across from Sona. She was playing as white and Naruto as black. Sona grabbed a pawn and moved it forward. So what do you really want? Asked Naruto using a knight to leap over a pawn. Nothing. Having a fallen angel that owes me a favor could be useful, said Sona as she moved a bishop. What makes you think I owe you a favor? Asked Naruto. No reason, but I think that my lovely Tsubaki-chan has taken a shine to you and I plan on getting everything I can out of her. You sound like a high-class pimp if that's the case, said Naruto moving a rook. Sona chuckled. If I really wanted to, I could tell Tsubaki to drop out of school and go earn me money on the nearest corner. She'd gladly suck a few filthy cocks for a few dollars. If you ask nice, I'll even sell her to you, said Sona. Something is wrong with you devils if you can do that to your servants, said Naruto taking a knight with a pawn. Sona shrugged as she took the knight using her queen. That's all she is, a servant who fulfills my every desire. It's her purpose after all. Naruto gripped his rook. Before he took note of the situation, she was beating him into a reaction. But why? The chessboard, the pieces, the way she worded things. Naruto placed his piece and calmed himself. He didn't want to give this woman more ammo than she already had. You're good at mental games, Sona-san, but please be mindful that I am not one of those idiotic simps who worship the ground you walk on. I may not be a member of the Gogori, but I'll kick your ass if you ever try to play me again, said Naruto. Sona looked at Naruto in his eyes. The duo stared at each other for a moment, before Sona smiled. Very well, Uzumaki-san. Please take care of Tsubaki. She's very dear to me. Also know this. I am not Rias and won't jump the gun but hurt Tsubaki and I'll freeze you, said Sona. Naruto nodded before he picked up his rook and moved it one last time before he rose. Have a nice day, Sona-san. A white hired girl opened the door for Naruto, allowing him and Eve to leave. As they did, Sona looked at the chessboard, specifically at the rook that Naruto had moved. Sona picked up her bishop. The one that she was going to move had Naruto gone through with his move, and that's how she knew that she was in danger. His second rook had a clear shot at her queen 2 squares away from her king, and 1 row away from the back row. 2 moves to draw. 1 move to checkmate. Oh Rias, you were looking for a pawn and lost a knight in your future battle, thought the Sitri heiress couldn't stop the smirk that appeared on her face. Location: Kuo Town Place. Mall time: 2000. So does the uniform fit all right, Eve-chan? Asked Naruto. The duo had just finished getting Eve's uniform tailored to fit her. She already had her class schedule and was allowed a little leeway with the uniform. Thankfully the mall had a tailor that was contracted with the school to help with the uniforms. After taking her measurements, the seamstress was able to get the proper clothes and modify them in record time. While they waited, the duo had dinner at a cafe and did their homework. It was a popular hangout for students of Kuo, one that Naruto knew well from his time with Akano. They're alright, although I don't like how it shows off my legs. I wish the skirt was longer, said Eve with a frown as she looked at the bag in her hand. Naruto and Eve were walking home and stopped. Standing before them was Inuzuka Kiba. Naruto dropped his backpack and removed his jacket. You here for another beating? Asked Naruto. Kiba laughed at Naruto. Only it wasn't a light-hearted one, it was slightly deranged. Someone who planned to hurt someone else. He didn't bother saying anything. Instead, Kiba got into a low stance and charged at Naruto, raising his hands. Before he rushed at Naruto with a speed that Naruto was sure that he didn't have. Kiba thrust his hand forward, and the light caught the black of his nails. Naruto fell backward onto the ground and onto his hands, before using all his power to thrust his feet into Kiba's stomach, or he tried to. But Kiba managed to cross his arms, displacing a lot of the impact power. Even with a lot of the power gone, there was still enough to send Kiba skyward. Kiba did a few backflips and landed on the ground, and shook out his arms. So, this is the power of a fallen angel. I always wanted to test myself, said Kiba, standing tall. Naruto frowned. You know what a fallen angel is. Kiba laughed as he flexed his hand and grew inch-long claws and white hair to grow around his forearms. Course I do, after all. I smelled your corrupted light the second you stepped into Kuo today. I am surprised the devils defended your sorry ass. I am not affiliated with the fallen angel faction, but if it's an ass-kicking you want I can put my boots to your ass, said Naruto. You're not going to catch a werewolf. Our speed makes us faster than even a devil's knight, said Kiba. Eve stepped back. This wasn't her fight, but if Kiba looked like he would hurt her cousin then she would jump in and finish him herself. She was the demon after all. Naruto frowned as he grabbed his glasses and put them on. You trying to race or fight? Asked Naruto as his boots appeared. Race, fight, play tic-tac-toe. You can't beat me, Uzumaki. I am an S-ranked monster. Naruto smirked. Then let's shorten the world. Radical good speed, said Naruto, too. Rev. Naruto and Kiba rushed at each other and throw out a punch. Naruto and Kiba's attacks connected with each other's cheeks. Kiba had a bit more power in his attack, but Naruto was quicker to recover. Spinning slightly, Naruto jumped into the air and activated air platform. While he was in the air, he held out his hand and formed a spear of light. Naruto's speak of light was orange. Naruto threw it at Kiba with the intent to impale him. Kiba snorted and thought that Naruto was an idiot for trying to catch him with something so slow. Kiba managed to get inside of Naruto's defenses and slash his back with his claws. Naruto yelled in pain as he rolled forward and came around with a jumping toe kick to Kiba's face. Kiba growled as he opened his mouth and grabbed his throat. Wolf howl, yelled Kiba, unleashing a blast of energized air. The attack rushed at Naruto, but before it could hit, Eve appeared before Naruto with her hand raised. Before said hand turned into a big metal shield, the blast hit the shield and dispersed. Take him out, Naruto, yelled Eve. Rev. Naruto smirked. No problem. Naruto vanished and appeared in front of Naruto and kicked him in the chin, sending him flying. Naruto grabbed Kiba, before pulling him towards an outstretched arm. Lariat, yelled Naruto, hitting Kiba right across the throat. Kiba was turned inside out by this attack and landed on his back, gasping in pain. Rev. Naruto appeared behind Kiba and wrapped his head up in a half Nelson before flying into the air as high as he could. While it didn't seem like much, Naruto knew that Kiba was at a huge disadvantage. Werewolves by nature were ground dwellers. They hated being away from the ground. Their power came from the connection to the earth. Naruto began to spin as fast as he could. Drilling air throw, yelled Naruto as he threw Kiba into the ground. Kiba slammed into the ground. Naruto spun around and raised his left into the air, as lavender-colored energy burst from his raised leg. Crank. Now for the finisher. Crescent Moon Axe, yelled Naruto. The kick landed on the ground, panting as Eve came over and helped him up. Naruto looked at Kiba and smirked at the downed werewolf. Take that, Muttley, said Naruto. Geez, you really did a number on the runt, came a female voice. Eve and Naruto got into a defensive stance as a figure walked out of the shadows. It was a young woman. She was slightly shorter than Naruto and she seemed to have a bit of a wild beauty to her in a MILF-type way. D-cup breasts, wild brown hair and slit eyes. She wore a brown vest that was zipped up to just under her breasts, a pair of skin-tight pants, and slip-on shoes. Who are you? Asked Eve, prepared to defend her cousin. The woman chuckled. I am Kiba's mother and alpha of the Inuzuka pack, Inuzuka Sume, which is only me, my kids, my husband, and his brother. Anyway, the kid has needed his ass kicked for a while now, said Sume, picking up Kiba and throwing him over her shoulder. You're not mad? Asked Naruto. Nah, werewolves love a good fight. We always want to challenge the person nearest our level. The stronger the better. As much as I like talking to you two runts, I am taking this idiot home. Catch you around, said Sume as she vanished without a sound. That woman is terrifying, said Eve. Naruto nodded, before he and Eve left the. As Eve helped Naruto away, neither noticed a small serpent-like creature who had watched the entire battle. Location: Kuo Town Place, Uzumaki Residence, Edding Tide's restaurant. Time: 1930. Ouch. Can you be a bit more gentle on my poor back, Mito ne? Yelled Naruto. I would. But what dumbass gets into a fight with a werewolf? Yelled Mito as she gained a tick mark, before slapping bandages on Naruto's back. Yeeeeeeee. Naruto-kun isn't a dumbass, said Eve. Thank you, Eve-chan, yelled Naruto. He just doesn't have any sense of self-preservation whatsoever, said Eve. Naruto began to cry while Mito laughed. As fun as it is to fun of my idiot son, I didn't realize that there were werewolves in Kuo, said Minato. Same, vampires, devils, beast tamers, and yokai, but not werewolves, said Kushina. I don't get it. What's with the werewolves and why didn't you know? Asked Naruto. It's more because werewolves have no magic to speak up, they fall into the same category as regular humans. I guess you could call it virus that turns into a disease, but not one that's detrimental to the individual. After a while it just becomes a familial treat. They become naturally strong, fast, their senses, especially their hearing and smell, is off the charts, and then there's their ability to transform into their full wolf form. That reminded Naruto of something Kiba said. Hey, while I was fighting, Kiba claimed he was an S-ranked monster. What is that about? Asked Naruto. Oh, that, honestly, I normally wouldn't bother with that. It's the ranking system that is usually accepted. I'll give you an example. Devils go by low, mid, high, noble, super, and ultimate, or like our own winged ranking system. Monsters and yokai find the FSS rank class system simpler, said the red-haired chef as she fixed her hair into a tight bun. What rank are we in the monster ranking system? Asked Naruto. Fallen angels are considered S-ranked alongside devils, angels, vampires, and some classes of yokai. The only sulfur monosulfide ranked creatures are gods and heavenly dragons. Then we have to go into the top strongest beings, but aside from position 1 and 2 the rest are kinda up in the air and open for interpretation, said Mito. Naruto rubbed his head. All this information dumb is a bit of a headache. Where are you two heading? Asked Naruto. We're heading to a conference for the Greater Senju Foundation. Well, be gone for a day or two, said Minato. You kids behave. Oh, and Mito is in charge, said Kushina as Minato opened the door as he and Kushina left. If they are going to be gone for several days, what are they going to do? Asked Eve. Make out and make babies probably, said Mito. I don't need to hear about my parents fucking Mito. How about we make out instead, said Naruto with a smirk. Not in front of Eve, I am not. Maybe another day. Besides, you still owe me 3 dates before we do anything more than kiss, said Mito, crossing her arms under her breasts. Naruto, Mito, and Eve sat playing games on the family Switch. Despite not really being on it a lot due to his training and formerly dating Akeno, Naruto didn't have a lot of time to play it, but he did indulge in the games from time to time. The phone on the desk began to ring. Naruto picked it up and saw that it was the old bastard. Yo, old man. Any reason you were calling 1-800? I am about to whoop yo candy ass if this isn't good, said Naruto, frowning. Hey Naruto, listen, I need a huge favor, said Azazel. What? Yelled Naruto. I am already doing your deadbeat ass a favor by watching you and Tearja's fake love child. What else could your perverted ass want? Oh, nothing much. Just make sure your aunt and her idiot friends don't jump the gun and kick off the next great war while keeping your ex-girlfriend's master from killing her, you know, small potatoes. Naruto wanted to scream. The sun was setting on the day. On the overpass bridge, 2 young people stood there. As cars passed underneath, one of the figures felt like this couldn't really be happening to him, while the girl looked like she was struggling to express herself aside from the blush on her face. A brown-haired boy who wore the clothes of Kuo Academy's boys' uniform that was opened, revealing a red shirt underneath. This young man was Hyodo Issei, the leader of Kuo Academy's famous perverted trio. He wasn't a bad guy, a bit obsessed with breasts, but overall, not too bad, and it was a bit funny because some girls considered him cute, while others just considered him annoying. He also happened to have a semi-friendship with the school's best fighter, so long as he wasn't found perving on any of the girls. The girl across from him was beautiful, an attractive young woman with violet eyes and a curvaceous, slender body with breasts that could give Akeno a run for her money. She had long, silky black hair that reached down to her hips, wearing a dark red jacket with the letter P embroidered in gold, a white undershirt, a red bow, and a green skirt with a thin white strip around the lower end, white thigh-high socks, and a pair of black shoes. Hey there, said Issei. The girl blushed and looked away. Hello there, can I ask you something? Asked the girl. Sure, go for it, said Issei. Please go on a date with me, said the girl, closing her eyes and throwing her fists up. Issei instantly thought that he had hit the jackpot, after spending the last year getting rejected and just peeking at the Kendo Club girls, the co-captains of said club. Issei would admit he wondered if they were lesbians or would share a boyfriend. Either way, he wanted to find out. It didn't help that there were rumors that they had been seen kissing each other in the Kendo Club with his 2 friends and their rather open perverted attendances. Especially Matsuda, who Issei was worried would do something really drastic. He thought that he would never have a chance with the girls, especially since he was labeled a pervert. In truth, Issei was just overly hormonal compared to other boys his age. At least that was his thoughts until last week. He started to see a girl around Kuo. It was on the train the first time he saw her. It wasn't anything major, just them locking eyes. Issei didn't believe in love at first sight, but he would admit that he was taken aback by her looks. If anything, she could compete with Hamejima-san in the looks department. Sure. But we don't even know each other's names, said Issei, rubbing the back of his head while trying not to stare at the young woman's chest. The girl's eyes shot open as her hands flew to her mouth. Oh, I am sorry. My name is Yuma, Amano Yuma, said the girl. Issei smiled. That's a very lovely name, said Issei. So will you go out with me? Asked Yuma. Yuma smiled before she walked up to Issei and kissed him on the cheek. Great. I'll see you Saturday at the Kuo Town Fountain Plaza at 11, don't be late, said Yuma as she ran off. All too easy. A little shyness here, a batting of eyelashes there, and the right clothes and you have them eating out of your hands. Good job, Raynare, thought Yuma, wanting to laugh. As Raynare ran away from Issei and disappeared down the stairs, she took off before she rounded the corner of an alley and stopped dead in her tracks. Standing against the wall still in uniform was her nephew. Raynare was well aware that this was perfect little Kushina's son. You deserve an Oscar for that award performance. The best female manipulating a horned-up teen role goes to you, Aunt Raynare. By the way, Heaven's Evening Day's nice touch with the name, said Naruto, removing his shades and placing them on top of his head. Yuma frowned as she crossed her arms and leaned on the wall. Oh, if it isn't father's newest grandson and pet project. What are you doing here, Naruto? Asked Raynare. Raynare was the youngest of all of Azazel's kids. She was only 20 years old, but in fallen angel terms she might as well have been a kid. She also wasn't in her true form. Because of her sin of desire, she tended to walk around in the body of her teenage self. It was her preferred form unless she was in combat. Even then it made no real difference other than her clothes and height. Keeping an eye on you by the request of the old man, said Naruto as he reached into his back and pulled out a bottle of water, before guzzling it down. Raynare snorted before she kicked off the wall and tried to walk away. Bug off, kid. Go play at school or something. I am doing real work here. By real work, you mean fucking over that perv without giving up the goods, give him blue balls and all that mess, said Naruto, knowing that anything that Raynare did with Issei wouldn't end well. My team and I don't need a babysitter, growled Raynare. Naruto grabbed her by her wrist and threw her into the wall, not hard, but enough to let her know she wasn't leaving. Naruto slammed his hand next to her face. Naruto had always wanted to try the wall slam confessional, but not like this. He always pictured it to be more romantic bot business, especially with a woman who was technically his aunt, although with how far out the bloodline was removed, they could hardly be related. I want you to do that to me, said Gree, teasing her host. Not now, Gree, I am kinda working, thought Naruto without breaking eye contact with Raynare. I didn't hear a no, said Gree. Azazel disagrees, said Naruto, ignoring his partner. Hey, what the hell are you doing? You trying to fuck me or something? Asked Raynare, hoping that Naruto would be a blushing virgin and let her go. Sadly for her, Naruto wasn't so weak-willed to fall for it. He told me about your mission, said Naruto, completely serious. Raynare froze upon hearing this. Raynare and her team had been told that they were supposed to observe Hyodo Issei. During his brief stay a few weeks about, he said he felt a massive draconic force within Kuo, while dormant dragons unleashed periodic bursts of energy. Over the course of time, when they are close to waking up, orders came down through the chain to find and watch the source of the energy. However, a note had been written by one of the cadres. If the dragon shows signs of waking or the devils take an interest in recruiting the wielder, eliminate them. Raynare looks away and grit her teeth. What would you have me do? Asked Raynare. Naruto pulled away. Lucky for you, I also have a date Saturday. Well, meet at the fountain and talk about it there. Oh, my date is a devil and I expect you to play nice with her, said Naruto with a smile. The dark-haired beauty glared at him. Who the hell do you think you are to order me around? Yelled Raynare. Naruto summoned a light sword and held the tip to Raynare's throat. Raynare swallowed hard as her legs shook in fear. She hadn't detected a hint of malice in his actions, so for him to attack her and nearly kill her in a split second should have made her worry about how strong this kid was after Azazel's training. No, she was stronger than this kid. Azazel Gigi told me how strong-headed you are and how you crave his approval after refusing to go into the administration. He's not mad at you for following your own path, but he won't allow you to do anything that could lead to another war. He loves you, Aunt Raynare, but hell, sacrifice even his own kids to keep everyone safe, said Naruto. How could I taking out that little perv lead to a what? Hell, had probably get a boner seeing my real clothes and form. Naruto took the sword away from her throat. Remember what I said, Raynare, said Naruto as he took off. Once Naruto was away, Raynare rubbed her neck. Asshole didn't hand to hold a knife to my throat, said Raynare. Location. Kuo Town, Kuo Academy Place, Student Council Office. Time. 2120. Sona sat across from Rias looking at the chessboard. Behind the duo were their respective queens as well as one other person acting as their bodyguard. For Rias it was Kiba and for Sona it was her newest pawn, Saji. Are you ready to go over the people who would make good peerage members? Asked Rias as she moved a pawn. Of course, there are quite a few candidates that I like, said Sona. So, they went down the list from the Kendo Club co-captains to the vice-captain of the kickboxing team Miu, who was one of the strongest girls in the school. Miu's inclusion was a bit annoying to Akeno since the young girl tended to hover around Naruto like a lost puppy when she was in the club room. Oh, how that little bitch used to annoy Akeno when she would visit and watch her boy FR ex-boyfriend, she had to remind herself. What about Hyodo Issei? Said Rias as she moved her pawn and took a bishop. The leader of the perverted trio. What's so special about him? Asked Sona as she moved her queen into a checkmate position. Rias signed as she tipped her king over. Kaneko is sure that she sensed a scared gear on the boy, not sure what kind, but she was sure that it felt like a dragon, said Rias. That doesn't narrow it down that much, there are over 100 gears that have some type of dragon affinity to them, said Sona. So will you take him? Asked Rias. Sona put her head in her open palm and seemed to think about it for a few minutes. It looks like the Gremory ability comes in clutch for you. I won't be taking him as it would disrupt the balance that I am going for in my peerage, said Sona. Great. Now that all the work-related stuff is out of the way, do you truly intend to allow Tsubaki-kun to go on a date with a fallen angel? Asked Rias. The friendly atmosphere of the room quickly became tense. I have given both Tsubaki-chan and Naruto my blessing to court. I've even sent in the necessary paperwork to both my father and my sister. If anything comes from their union I am prepared. My hope is for there to be a devil that can use light magic, said Sona. Tsubaki blushed. I am not sure how far our union would go, milady, said Tsubaki. Nonsense. Although someone of Akino's patronized would have a higher chance of such a child with all the powers of a devil and few weaknesses, said Sona. I am not a political tool, growled Akeno. Akeno-chan has no desire to get back with Naruto and as her king. I will not force her, no matter how good it might be for Devilkind in the long run, said Rias. The council might have something to say about it, said Sona. Rias slammed her hand on the table. The council can kiss my ass. I won't let them come after my people because of something we didn't know. Sona narrowed her eyes. You acted rashly and instead of analyzing the situation you just acted like a barbarian. Ladies, perhaps this conversation is getting a bit too heated, said Kiba. Kiba-kun is right. We have more important things to focus on like Tsubaki's upcoming date, said Rias. The glasses, queen. Looked at her fellow queen. You don't have a problem with me going on a date with your ex-boyfriend, do you? Asked Tsubaki already knowing the answer. Akeno grit her teeth. Do what you want. If you want to spread your legs for a damn crow then go right ahead, yelled Akeno. Tsubaki narrowed her eyes before a smile crept onto her face. Didn't you spread your legs for him? I seem to remember that you had no problem bragging about how Naruto-kun split me in half with his large foot long, thick as 3 fingers bitch breaker. He stuffed me so full. I wish he didn't wear condoms. I bet cream pies would feel great. I am sure that you could have gotten cream pied if you didn't attack him. Kiba and Saji both blushed but didn't say anything. Despite their position, neither wanted to be in the middle of a catfight. Watch your mouth, bitch, or I'll rip your tongue out from your throat, yelled Akeno, her purple eyes widening. Akeno, stand down. Hissed Rias. Tsubaki, that's enough, said Sona with a blush on her cheeks. Tsubaki looked at her mistress and bowed. I apologize, my lady, but I wanted to remind Hamejima-san about her own rather lewd retelling of her nights with Uzumaki-kun. Her words were always to that effect. Leave it alone, Tsubaki. What I had with Naruto-kun is dead, said Akeno. If it's as dead as you say, then why did I find you pleasuring yourself to his picture in the changing room after gym class yesterday? Asked Tsubaki. I was horny and he's the best looking guy around, said Akeno unconvincingly. Something along those lines. Even if he is a fallen, I have no intention of, how did you put it? Spreading my leg open for him after only one date. I have standards, said Tsubaki. Akeno turned and stormed out of the room. Kiba sighed as his senpai left the room, but he knew that his place was with Rias. Rias sighed. We'll have to do this again soon, Sona, but please let's leave the insults and politics out of it. Sona smiled. No promises, Rias. I myself find Uzumaki-kun quite attractive, and if he does end up with Tsubaki, well, harems aren't devils, only ways of showing status and power. I am sure that he wouldn't have a problem with a polygamous relationship, said Sona. Rias looked at Sona and snorted. He's only a tool used by those stronger than him, said Rias, standing up and leaving the room. If that's what you believe, I wish you a good night, Rias, said Sona. Location: Kuo Academy Place, Edding Tides. Time: 2230. Edding Tides currently doesn't have any customers. Minato, Mito, and Eve were currently out gathering items for Eve and Minato, teaching Mito to drive. Apparently, Minato had always wanted a little girl, so he was spoiling them rotten, threatening any boyfriends they would have and the like. Kushina and Naruto were cooking some ramen together, or rather it was the Uzumaki special, a ramen that was a staple of the Edding Tides restaurant, but most people didn't seem to take to the ramen. However, it was something that Naruto and Kushina enjoyed making and eating together. They often made a big pot that could feed 20 people. As Naruto cut the limp noodles so that were to be thrown into the broth, he couldn't help but think back over the last couple of weeks. He was nearly killed, found out about his girlfriends and her pals' secret lives as devils, found out about his heritage as a fallen angel, found out that 4 of the most important people in her life were fallen angels, discovered that he had a female dragon attack to a pseudo-god killing weapon in the form of boots, and met his great ×3 grandfather, and that was only within the first 24 hours of his new reality. Following that, he spent the next 2 weeks with Azazel training to learn about his new powers and abilities, learned that he was the new cousin of an artificial human named Eve, a joke Azazel said was used to directly spite his old man. Then when he came home, he barely saw his mom or dad for more than a few minutes. Oh, and he got into a fight with a werewolf, so yeah, he hadn't exactly had time to speak to his mother lately. And it's not like his parents had ever lied to him before. They were always stern but loving. Well, more stern on Kushina's side, since she believed that Naruto needed to have the discipline to kick someone's ass. Are you going to ask her? Asked Gree. Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound, and Uzumaki never backs down. Gree nodded as a go fight go flag appeared in her hand. Good luck, Uzumaki-kun, I am rooting for you. Hey Ka-chan. I have something I want to ask you, said Naruto as he watched the shrimp boil, after cutting and cleaning them. What is it, honey? Asked Kushina as she stirred the broth while adding the spices. Why didn't you ever tell me about the supernatural? Asked Naruto. Kushina stopped her stirring and turned to her son. It's been a little over 3 weeks. I was wondering when you'd ask me about that, said Kushina with a sigh. Naruto leaned on the table. At first I was really mad about it, yak now. I mean, my girlfriend and her friends tried to kill me. The majority of my family ended up being angels, and I have a superpower that most people never see. So yeah, I was really confused. First, ex-girlfriend. I am pretty sure trying to kill you gives her the designation of ex. Second, we are fallen angels. Third, we never told you because you didn't have powers, no wings, no sacred gear, nothing, said Kushina. Naruto looked at his mother with wide eyes. What? Asked Naruto. It was moments like this that Kushina wished she still smoked. Yeah. You were born without the abilities of a fallen angel or Minato's own ability to use human sealing arts. Aside from the fact that you were never once sick in your life and above ravage human strength, we figured that you were going to live your life as a human, marry a human, and die a human, said Kushina, gaining a sad smile on her face. Naruto looked at his mother and realized something terrible. The thought of his and Minato's death had always been in the back of her mind. Kushina could live for up to 1,000 years or more, while Naruto and Minato would die if they were lucky at the age of 120, 1/10 the life she could live, while she would always have Azazel, Tsunade, Shizune, and Mito. She would lose both the love of her life and her child. Can you forgive me for being a foolish mother, for keeping secrets from you? Asked Kushina, looking away from her son. She was silently dreading this conversation as well as the outcome. Would he hate her? Would he never speak to her again? Would he hit her? Would he never speak to her again? Whatever his reaction, she would accept it. The last thing she expected was to have a pair of arms wrap her in a warm embrace. Kushina's eyes snapped open as she looked at her son, who, she only now realized how he towered over her. Naruto smiled as he, I love you, Ka-chan, and nothing will change that. Azazel's theory was that the blood had diluted so far after 5 generations that blood, aside from a few benefits, I'd be the last fallen angel of the Uzumaki bloodline unless I decided to have a child with another man besides your father. He's actually surprised that I am a 10-wing fallen when those before me barely made it to 6, even Azazel's own son, my 2x great-grandfather, said Kushina, gaining a sad look. So, what happened to the previous greats and Gran? Asked Naruto. Dead, not sure how, but most of them died. My own father was in my life up until just 3 years before you were born, said Kushina, shrugging. Naruto tilted his head at his mother's callous speech about her own father. Then again, He never met the man, so it was hard to care about him. Come on, let's finish the ramen and eat, said Kushina with a smile. Naruto smiled back at his mother and nodded to her. Eve puffed out her cheeks as she looked at Midone, who helped Naruto get ready for a date. While Eve was young, she was incredibly smart. However, for as smart as she was also socially inept. She knew that male sperm was needed to fertilize female eggs in order to reproduce, so, the concept of dating eluded her. Maybe it was a form of selecting the proper mate to produce the best offspring. Even if Eve scientifically understood this, she was still a bit annoyed that her Ni-chan was going on a date when he should have been hanging out with her and Mito, although she had to admit that the skinny black chinos and orange shirt with white shoes looked good on him. No fair. I want to go on a date with Naruto ne too, pouted Eve, turning away from the duo. Mito smiled. Same, so, Naruto, when am I going to get that date? Asked Mito. Naruto smirked. I'll take you out tomorrow since Ka-chan has no training plans for you. Midas smiled. Fair's fair, Naruto. I can clear my training easily since Kushina-sensei wants grandbabies sooner rather than later. What about me? Asked Eve. What about you, shrimp? Most guys aren't interested in mosquito bites. Laughed Mito as she ruffled Eve's hair. Eve glared at the older girl. The pair had developed something of a sibling rivalry. Naruto considered it almost supernatural how fast the duo had bonded when they weren't teasing each other or trying to get Naruto's attention. They could actually be found just hanging out. Of course, they had barely known each other for a week and there was a lot that could make this budding relationship go south fast. How about I take you to the amusement park next Friday night? Amusement park? Asked Eve. The blonde-haired boy smirked at the younger girl. That's right. A park that's designed to keep people entertained. A roller coaster, a Ferris wheel, and all kinds of games and prizes. It will be awesome, said Naruto. Eve thought about it for a second before she got up and kissed Naruto on the cheek. It's a deal, and I better have fun or else, said Eve as she turned her hair into a blade and held it to his junk. Naruto began to sweat and nod his head as fast as he could. Mito laughed at her sensei's son. No matter what Eve thought, Mito was sure that she would love the girl as a friend and sister till the end of all. Location: Kuo Town Place, Fountain Plaza Mall. Time, 10:50. The Kuo Town Fountain Plaza was as busy as ever on this bright Saturday morning. Of course, Issei really wasn't a morning person. Even though it was already 1100 am, already several people were walking around the area, couples, groups of friends, and even people on trips. Issei would have preferred to be out with his boys. His mom had managed to pick out some decent clothes for him, a long-sleeved spin skirt, a cream-colored button-up shirt, gray pants, and red sneakers. A slap on his back brought him out of his thoughts. What's up, king of perverts, said Naruto with a smirk. Issei paled as he looked at Naruto, while Issei and Naruto weren't really friends. They didn't have a problem with each other. Issei feared that Naruto used him and his bros as target practice for their peeping ways. Issei could hold a conversation of the young man from class 2C. The only point of contention between them was that Naruto seemed to hate perverts, or rather he hated open perverts. It also didn't help that Issei had peeped of Mew while she was changing. Issei was sure that one of his balls was still missing from the beating that he revived that day. What could he do? She had a pair of knockers the same size as Akano-senpai's, he just had to see Yuma's melons. Naruto-san, what are you doing here? Asked Issei. I have a date with Tsubaki today, Issei, said Naruto. Issei looked at Naruto with a frown. It's bad enough you dated Hamejima-senpai, but now you've stolen the vice president's heart like the shitty bastard you were, said Issei. Hyodo-san, I hope that you're not causing problems for my date, came Tsubaki's voice. Naruto and Issei turned around and both were treated to a rare sight. Tsubaki's hair was done up in a tight bun, almost as tight as her behind was. Her clothes were simple, a blue ruffled skirt, a long-sleeved pink shirt, and quarter heels. Hanging from her side was a small clutch bag. Naruto whistled. Dang, Tsubaki-chan, you clean up nice, said Naruto, giving her a once-over. The queen of the Sitri peerage blushed and looked away. Thank you, Naruto-san, of course. I always try to look my best as a representative of Kuo Academy, said Tsubaki. Issei-kun, yelled Yuma, running towards them. Yuma wore a short black dress with a small, light purple jacket on top. When she finally got up to the trio, she bent over panting. Sorry I am late, said Yuma as she looked at Issei. She did a quick look at the others. Who are your friends, Issei, and are you going to introduce them to me? Issei looked at Yuma, trying hard not to ogle her. Right, Yuma-chan. This is Uzumaki Naruto, captain of the kickboxing team, and Shinra Tsubaki, the student. Hello, Uzumaki-senpai, Tsubaki-san, said Yuma, bowing in greeting. Tsubaki moved her glasses. It's quite a foolish thing to do to make a date wait longer than 5 minutes, Miss Yuma, said Tsubaki. Yuma nervously laughed. Sorry if I don't seem desperate to impress my date. Issei is just cool like that, Tsubaki-san. An aura appeared around the two girls as they looked at each other. Issei was about to walk forward and try to separate them, but Naruto stopped him with a shake of his head. Well, since we're all here, how about we make it a double date? Asked Yuma, smiling at the others. That's not too bad an idea, said Naruto. I agree to it as well, so long as Yuma-san doesn't try anything, said Tsubaki. Yuma laughed. You're funny, Tsubaki-san. As if I would waste my time messing with you or Naruto-san. The group then spent their day doing a variety of activities, from shopping to eating, to going to the movies. All in all, it was an amazing day for the group. They walked the entire plaza area. The entire time they were out, Yuma and Tsubaki seemed to try to outdo each other, but before long they seemed to get along great. After a few hours, they found themselves back at the fountain. The evening sun bathed the four in a nice light. The wind blowing was a nice touch as well. As Tsubaki and Yuma, Issei couldn't help but reflect on the day. He had managed to spend the day with two of the coolest people in his school. The girl who he was sure was the coolest at her school, he had managed to control himself. Naruto placed a hand on Issei's shoulder. This tore his gaze away from the two girls who were sitting on the fountain and slashing each other with water and laughing like they had been good friends for years. You have to cherish moments like this, Issei, no matter how small. Sometimes life can throw unexpected curveballs at you, said Naruto. Issei smiled as he zeroed in on the chest of Yuma. Oh, I am Naruto-senpai, said Issei, only to get hit in the back of the head. Stop thinking with your dick for a second and appreciate life, man, said Naruto. Issei looked at the girls and this time managed to repress his urge to look at them with eyes of lust. All he saw was two girls having fun. The plaza was fairly empty today. Then Tsubaki seemed to say something to Yuma, making her nod, before they shook hands, not like friends, but more as if to seal some kind of deal. Yuma and Tsubaki smiled at the boys before they left the fountain and went to their respective males. Yuma walked up to Issei and gave him a kiss on the cheek. Issei, I am sorry, but you will have to forget this day. I will cherish this day and your gift, said Yuma, lifting her arm up with a pink scrunchie. Yuma, what are you talking about? Asked Issei. Yuma smiled. You're a nice guy, Issei, but the world is cruel, and for you to be safe, you have to forget about this day, said Yuma as she went to place a hand on his face. Issei wanted to scream in pain, but no sound left his mouth as a blue spear of light slammed through his chest. The brown-haired boy coughed up blood onto Raynare, whose eyes widened. Naruto and Tsubaki both looked behind Issei. Floating there were three people, a tall and buxom woman with brown eyes and long navy blue hair that obscured her right eye. If her breasts were large as watermelons, then her legs were a mile long with hips that screamed childbearing. A maroon trench coat-like top with a wide collar, and the trench coat top was open at her chest, giving view to her breasts and cleavage, and the sleeves were rolled up past her elbows, with a deep white versus neck shirt, a matching maroon miniskirt, and black-heeled shoes. Behind her back was two large raven-colored vanigs. Next was a girl with blonde hair which was styled into twin tails and blue eyes. If anything, she fed Naruto a bit of Kaneko with how her body was pre-protecined. She wasn't tall, but Naruto could tell that this girl was Sin incarnate, a gothic Lolita attire, which consisted of a black dress with white frills, a large black bow on the front, and a green jewel embedded on the collar, white thigh-high socks, and black Mary Janes. She also wore a large black bow on top of her hair. She had a smile on her face and a pair of black wings that did nothing to help with her innocent act. Finally, there was a middle-aged looking man with short black hair and dark blue eyes, a pale gray trench coat over a white dress shirt with a matching ascot, black pants and shoes, a pair of black gloves, and a black fedora. He had 4 black wings. What is this? An episode of Young and the Restless? Asked the blonde fallen angel. Be nice, Milty. After all, don't you usually have sex with your targets before killing them? Asked the blue-haired woman. Better than being a virgin spinster like your fat-ass Kalawaner, said Milty. I am not a spinster and I am not fat. My one true love is sitting on the couch and doing nothing, yelled Kalawaner. Enough, you two. Get Raynare. I'll handle the devil and her traitor pet, said the man. Damn you. You Dick Van Dyke wannabe, yelled Naruto as he summoned a spear and threw it at the man with all his might. The man smirked as he caught the spear. Naruto's eyes widened as he didn't know that his spears could be caught. Azazel during their training had always smashed them to pieces. Not bad, kid, said the man as he threw it at Tsubaki with twice the power and speed as Naruto's original spear. Tsubaki knew that she wouldn't be able to block the spear. Naruto jumped in front of Tsubaki, taking the spear of light in his stomach. Naruto grunted in pain. As he went to his knee, he gripped the spear in his gut, before ripping it out only for 2 more to make their home in his chest. Naruto-kun! Yelled Tsubaki. Kalawarner cursed and turned to the trenchcoat-wearing man. Damn it, Donsik. That wasn't part of the plan. Raynare-sama ordered us to stay back and observe. If we were to attack the devils and the blonde-haired male, we're off limits. The man snorted. If the kid is so weak that a light spear could kill him, then he wasn't worthy of our ranks in the first place, said Donsik. Raynare glared. You moron. That's my nephew, yelled Raynare. Milty looked at the bleeding Naruto and sighed. Shame. He looked like he would have been fun in bed, said the girl. Whatever, we need to leave now, said Kalawarner. Raynare cursed and looked between the two grouped before she spread her 4 wings and followed after her comrades. As he lay there watching Tsubaki try and help Naruto, Issei couldn't help the feeling of jealousy in his chest. He didn't want to die alone. He wanted someone to be there for him, someone as beautiful as Yuma. The blood on the ground sipped into a small seal before a circle appeared on the ground as Ria-senpai and Akeno-senpai appeared. Naruto could barely hear what was happening as Ria seemed to be issuing orders. Whatever was going to happen, Naruto would figure once when not if. Ifs were for suckers. He woke up. Location: Kuo Town Place. Edding Tides Restaurant, Uzumaki Residence. Time: 2100. The portal opened up and allowed Tsubaki, Akeno, and Naruto into the room. Akeno looked at the hole in Naruto's stomach, the blood dripping, Naruto coughing up blood. Akeno was pulled into memories of her past, swinging blades, and magic attacks. The iron smell clung to the winds on that snow-filled day. Ino, help me. You can help him better than I can, yelled Tsubaki as her hands glowed. Right, said Akeno as her hands also glowed. Devils naturally had a hard time healing damage done by light magic and light-based weapons. Naruto's saving grace at the moment was that he was naturally born a fallen angel, while both girls worked to try and repair the damage. The door to the room opened. Hey, what's up with all the no? Started Mito as she and Eve walked. The 2 female devils looked at the 2 blonde fallen angels. Both of them were shocked seeing their loved one layered out on the bed. Mito summoned her knife while Eve created several tentacle blades from her hair. What did you do? Asked Eve, trying to act as the voice of reason, but was something hot crawling under her skin, wanting her to rip and tear and hurt so badly until the pain stopped. Tsubaki opened her mouth. We were attacked by fallen angels. Naruto-kun took a spear of light to save my life, said Tsubaki. So you used him as a shield to save your worthless ass. You were probably dropped by that worthless bitch you call a mother, yelled Mito, more than a little tempted to summon her own light spear and deal damage. What's all the noise? Started Kushina as she walked in, wiping her hands. Kushina looked at everything in the room before her eyes landed on her son, his prone body the only thing she needed to see in order to act on her maternal instincts. Kushina grabbed Akeno and Tsubaki by the fronts of their shirts and lifted them into the air. Her aura was dark and she was about ready to destroy the 2 young women before her. Right now I don't care why I have 2 devils in my home. My son is laying there with a damn hole in his stomach. Tell your bosses that one more attempt on my son's life and the Red Death comes out of retirement. See yourselves out, or I am going to deliver your heads to your respective masters in boxes. Am I understood? Said Kushina, dropping the duo. Akeno and Tsubaki nodded to Kushina and quickly, once they were gone, Kushina turned to Naruto and placed a hand on his face. Mito, call Tsunade and tell her to get here fast. Eve, call Minato and alert him that we need to fix the seals on the house, said Kushina. Yes, Kushina-sensei, said the 2 girls as they pulled out their phones and made the calls. Kushina's eyes never left her son's face. It's all right, Naru-chan. Mommy has you. Mommy won't let anything bad happen to you. Not in the past, not in the present, not in the future. You can die 100 times and Mommy will never allow you to cross over until you've lived a full and wonderful life, said Kushina as she laid her head on her son's stomach, not minding the blood at all. Thanks for watching.